But that leaves us with one team left, the Buffalo Bills, um, who, in my opinion, had a good draft. Not as good as some of the other teams in this
Yeah.
division. Um, to me, I think the Russo pick. I like the guy. Like I like the pick. I just feel like they're very competitive at that division. And
Hmm.
then to turn around and draft Carlos Basham in the second round, they're already competitive
Yeah.
at that position. Then they draft two guys. To me, it was very similar to the Colts
Hmm.
in that scenario. But then they drafted some tackles. I think Marquez Stevenson at 203 is a good pick. He's a speedster who can help on kick returns a ton. They're going to lose John Brown. It seems like actually I think they already did lose John Brown,
Hmm.
but yeah. And so I do like their picks, and I think that they did a good job drafting the best player available. But I think the edge is a bit redundant, and then from there, two tackles in a row, and then two DBs in a row. But I think they did okay. So what are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
I I agree with you. I the two offensive tackles that they did get, I do like they were dominant in their
Mm-hmm.
divisions in their respective conferences. Going to Gregory Rousseau, I think if you were to take a flyer in the first round, I think this is a great spot to take him because he's so raw. I mean, he's 6'7", 270. No, sorry, 6'7", 290 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Super long, super lean, and can even add some muscle. But he's so quick off the ball. However, he went to Miami only a couple years ago and only has 15 games under his belt as an edge rusher. So it's very curious to see how he develops because he definitely does need some work. I like the Carlos Basham pick from Wake Forest, but I feel like if you figured Carlos Basham might be there, or if you already took Gregory Rousseau,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you could have taken a better offensive tackle that was available there, or you could have taken another defensive piece, a good linebacker or a good a cornerback that was available at that time instead of doubling up on the edge rusher. So that is where
Yeah, yeah.
I agree with you on that. Um, One of the things for me is I wonder why maybe if they were needing an edge rusher, and now Carlos they don't know if Carlos Basham is going to be there, but there is a lot of edge rusher talent at that end of
Mm-hmm.
the second round. I don't know why they wouldn't take Elijah Moore if they knew that John Brown was leaving. I feel like those two types of receivers
Yeah,
are similar, both speedsters. Elijah Moore
yeah, yeah.
might be a little bit more polished on the um, um, route running,
I
but
mean, yeah. That for me, I agree with that. I just it's a strange pick for me, just because like they drafted AJ Epinesa last year, who's an edge rusher. They have a few guys already that are in that position, and then they go and they draft two more. And even if you just draft one and then not the other, I feel like it's fine. Uh, but I don't know, especially too like Russo is he's he's kind of like while he's like 290, I don't think you could really play him at tackle. I
no,
think
yeah,
he's kind of a leaner build, and like he's a big dude. Like don't get me wrong, but it's like a he doesn't have a lot of like girth to him. I don't think you can really play him at tackle. I think he's kind of a specialist. Basham Jr. is a guy that I think you could play as an end on a 4-3 and as an end on a 3-4. You can kind of
yeah,
plug him in. He's not an outside linebacker, but an end. And
yeah.
so for me, I don't know. To me, I think you kind of put yourself in a bit of a player pickle there because you have two guys now that are kind of the same because they're both not quite big enough to be a tackle, but like definitely too big to play outside linebacker.
Yeah.
Maybe they want to play more of a 4-3 and then kick AJ Epinesa in at tackle to
Hmm.
play next to Ed Oliver, but then even then you have some veterans on your roster that like are they just going to get cut now?
Yeah.
So that for me um, is kind of I don't know. And then I do like Spencer Brown. I don't know a whole lot about Tommy Doyle, but you said he did well in his division.
Yeah, they're both respected tackles from their division, and so I think that they'll both be good pieces and have good depth. Because I think protecting Josh Allen as much as possible is going to be the priority for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I give it a B. And it's it's something I found similar to how we've been grading these teams that seem like they're already polished off pretty good.
Yeah.
And they're trying to add depth, which is why we probably saw the Colts do that. Tampa Bay was another one. Like you look at both those teams, it's like you could be picky on
Yeah.
what they might need to improve. I feel like Buffalo is also one of those teams. I feel like I would have liked to see them get some linebacker help as well.
Yeah.
Like another one, instead of taking Rousseau, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah was available for that 30th pick. And I thought that would have been a good fit as well because they did struggle over the middle a little bit against Kansas City.
I will say they have one of my favorite names, Rashad Wild Goose.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Jack Anderson.
Oh, no.
I was kidding.
But no, I definitely agree. And it is harder to draft when you have a Stephon Diggs and a Josh Allen, two guys who are cornerstones at two positions that are very much in need. Yeah. It does make drafting, I don't want to say more difficult because not that you take away those positions, but you're just like, well, like those positions are covered. We can get away with it for a little while.
Yeah.
And so like that to me is kind of, I guess why, but I don't know.
Well, and a lot of times people fall into the trap of these a first round pick or second round pick coming in immediately, but coming in immediately and providing an impact and starting. And if they're not good after 1 year, like all right, let's get rid of him. Let's fill it up again. But a lot of these guys, they take several years to develop, even in the end of the first round. Like Rousseau was drafted first, was their first pick, but he might not really start to see him until maybe his third year, right after he had a couple years to develop, get some game time, get some reps, and go on from there. This is one crazy thought. I wanted to get your take on this, and this is something I just thought about. But as we said, Gregory Rousseau's super raw coming out of Miami, and but 6'7", 290. He does have some speed on him. What if they maybe kind of transitioned Gregory Rousseau to a tight end and have a big red zone piece that Josh Allen could throw to? And they do have Dawson Knox. I do like Dawson Knox. I think he is a very versatile tight end, but he doesn't have the size of Gregory Rousseau. Not too many people do.
No.
So that would be interesting to see if that's something that they implemented, and then have him become a new offensive piece to go along. Now you got to worry about Stephon Diggs. Is Cole Beasley still there?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you got to worry about Cole Beasley on
Gabriel
the other side.
Davis is their other wide receiver.
Yeah, Devin Singletary.
I mean,
as running back.
I don't see it happening.
I don't see it, but with that
the athleticism is tantalizing at that position. I just don't see it. Especially drafting a guy at 30th overall, and then you would not draft him at 30th overall and be like, we're going to change him to tight end. You know, if you drafted him 230th overall, then we're we'll be like, all right, well, we'll just kind of see where he fits in.
Yeah.
But I doubt they'll try to do that. It would be kind of cool to see, I remember J.J. Watt did it a few years ago.
Yeah.
Where he transitioned.
Well, and that's what I'm saying with that size, and I agree with you. I don't think it's going to happen. To spend your first round pick, but that also being said, that if your first round pick can average 5 red zone touchdowns a year, and totally adds a new dynamic to that offense, especially in the red zone. Even though the Bills didn't really have much trouble scoring last year, so that's where it's kind of different. If it was the Falcons and they needed a red zone threat, I can maybe see it, because they haven't had really a red zone threat since Tony Gonzalez. But that's something that was just a thought that kind of sparked up in my mind as maybe that's why they also got Carlos Basham as well, who's more of a true edge rusher. that could come in. But that would be something interesting to see. I do agree. I think they're going to develop him as an edge rusher. But
Yeah. But overall, I think they did good. Did I give my grade? I don't know if I
yeah, he
did.
said B.
Oh, I did. Okay,
Yeah.
B. But I I think the Bills are still the favorite to win this division.